In the previous spoiler, it was mentioned that Luo Feng had been cultivating in front of the beast god statue for over 100 years. Although he still hasn't fully comprehended the mysteries of the fusion laws, he gained insight into the beast god's realm through the small beast god statue, which clarified his future cultivation direction. After organizing his findings, Luo Feng's journey with the Golden Horn clan came to an end, and it was time to return to Earth. Returning to Earth not only allowed him to reunite with his family, whom he hadn't seen in hundreds of years, but also gave him the opportunity to address the Zerg hive on Earth. After all, leaving the Zerg hive on Earth was always a hidden danger. Now, Luo Feng's golden horned beast had reached the world master level, and with his powerful spiritual energy amplification, he was now in a position to practice the secret technique that would allow him to control the Zerg queen. Therefore, he spent over 1,000,000 points on purchasing a technique related to multitasking and control. This technique is divided into 5 levels. If Luo Feng could cultivate to the 4th level, he would be able to control up to 1,000 servants, including an immortal level Zerg queen. To control the Zerg hive on Earth, however, he would need to reach at least the 3rd level. In fact, even a World Master level Zerg Queen typically requires an immortal level powerhouse to enslave. This is because the Zerg Queen's soul structure is extremely special, and the requirements for spiritual energy amplification are incredibly high. Without Luo Feng's spiritual energy amplification exceeding 1,000 times, it would be impossible to succeed. This is also why, despite possessing the Zerg hive for tens of thousands of years, Hu Yanbo was unable to enslave it and had to choose to leave it in a dormant state instead. However, this secret technique can achieve it. Its power is evident. Luo Feng was unaware that this technique was actually created by a disciple of Zuoshan Ke, or known as the Mountain's Sitting Guest, who would later become his senior brother. You might wonder why Luo Feng, who had already reached over 3,000 times spiritual energy amplification at the universe level, had to break through to the world master level before he could practice this technique. The reason is that any secret technique in the universe naturally incorporates the original laws of the universe during its creation to enhance its power. This technique is no exception. It requires the cooperation of the power of the world to truly be cultivated. Of course, if one used immortal level power, which had been purified by the original laws of the universe, it would be much easier. During his journey back to Earth, in addition to cultivating the secret technique to control the Zerg Queen, Luo Feng also needed to upgrade his Mo Yun Vine. After all, he was about to reach the peak of the 9th level of Domain Master. If he wished, his human body could break through to the World Master level at any time. However, this would make it impossible to explain why the nutrition cabin had no effect on him. The reason is that Luo Feng's inner world had just reached the World Master level, and it would take thousands of years of accumulation to reach the peak. Therefore, the level of all his clones would be limited by the inner world and could not directly reach the pinnacle World Master level using the nutrition cabin. However, compared to the peak of the universe level, the physical attributes at the Domain Master peak are already 10 to 100 times higher. While the Emoyun Vine, being more resilient and active than humans, would no longer provide significant assistance to a Domain Master level Luo Feng, losing its life-supporting role. Therefore, only by evolving the Emoyun Vine to the World Master level could it better serve its purpose. When cultivating the Emoyun Vine, Luo Feng spared no expense. Unfortunately, even using the best Super Evolution plan, his Emoyun Vine still could not evolve into a perfect World Master level Emoyun Vine. The fundamental reason was that the initial cultivation of the Emoyun Vine had not followed the optimal method, resulting in certain limitations during its final evolution. After all, when Babata first raised the vine, he did not anticipate that Luo Feng would join such a superpower as the Virtual Universe Company, so he had to consider Luo Feng's future financial capabilities. It is known that the cosmic rules are perfectly fair. The closer the Emoyun Vine gets to perfection, the more resources are required for its breakthrough to the immortal level, increasing exponentially by multiples, tens of times, or even hundreds or thousands of times. For high-level plant-based lifeforms like the Emoyun Vine, different cultivation methods can result in vastly different strengths. For example, the strongest Emoyun Vine could be 10 times stronger than the weakest. Although Luo Feng's Emoyun Vine couldn't evolve into the most perfect form, it was still considered a second-rate variety, with few others in the entire universe that could surpass it at the same level. You might be curious, since the Emoyun Vine is an evolvable lifeform, can it master the original laws? The answer is yes. Typically, when plant-based lifeforms break through to the immortal level, they will master the complete wood original law, which means they also have the ability to wield the domain of original law. The Emoyun Vine, known for its superactive cells and excellent self-healing abilities, enhanced by the strong life force of the wood original law, is almost impossible to be truly defeated unless facing someone far stronger than itself. Therefore, its defensive abilities are remarkable and will not disappoint. Of course, different plant-based lifeforms have unique functions, but they share a common point: cultivating them to the immortal level requires immense resources. Are you curious why, since the F-grade armor is hard enough to rival a typical immortal divine body, and its price is much lower than cultivating plant-based lifeforms, he didn't simply choose armor for protection? The reason is simple: metal-made armor only provides passive defense. While it can withstand attacks of equal or lower level without breaking, it cannot absorb or neutralize the residual shockwaves of the attack, nor can it block the rebound force generated by a strong collision. This shockwave is like a super explosion, strong enough to shatter the wearer inside the armor into pieces. In contrast, plant-based auxiliary lifeforms are entirely different. They possess active defense abilities, meaning that as long as the attacking force is within their defensive range, they can effectively dissipate all shockwaves, greatly reducing the damage. More importantly, they are extremely loyal to their master. If they face an attack they cannot withstand, they will sacrifice their lives without hesitation to protect their master. After all, once their master demises, they too will perish. This is also why there was no immortal level Mo Yunvine of Hu Yenbo on Earth. Have you noticed that ever since Luo Feng left the Blood River continent, he hasn't fused any Blood River crystals? Surely, the production team will take advantage of his return journey to Earth to fill in this gap. Back on Blood River continent, Luo Feng's golden horned beast had already fused 98 Blood River crystals. After receiving the Divine General's inheritance, his willpower greatly increased, allowing him to endure the fusion of the 99th Blood River crystal. Now, after enduring prolonged willpower refinement from repeatedly copying the Beast God statue, his willpower has strengthened even further, enabling him to withstand the powerful murderous intent and successfully fuse the 100th Blood River crystal. When the 100th Blood River crystal completely merged into his body, the mysterious pattern on the golden horned beast's claw was finally complete. At this moment, its right claw underwent a qualitative leap. If it simultaneously activated the enhanced innate secret technique and the Blood River power, the golden horned beast could unleash an attack 100 times stronger than its original power with just its right claw. This means that a single strike from the golden horned beast would be enough to overpower high-level world masters, even causing them to demise on the spot. If combined with the Tear the Sky Claw learned from the ancient projection, even weaker immortal-level powerhouses would struggle to match the current golden horned beast. Clearly, the enhancement brought by the 100 Blood River crystals far surpasses the increase granted by the Divine General's inheritance. After a long journey through space, Luo Feng returned to Earth. Naturally, he first reunited with his family before attempting to control the Zerg Queen. It's worth noting that, under his guidance and help, Defan had successfully broken through to the World Master level, and Carla was not far behind, reaching the 9th stage of the Domain Master, just one step away from World Master level. With Luo Feng's current strength, the Zerg Queen no longer poses a threat to him, but for his family, it remains a terrifying presence. Therefore, before taking action, Luo Feng had to make arrangements with his family. From Dylan's perspective, although Luo Feng was only a Domain Master in the eyes of others, the fact that he had already gained recognition of the original law of gold at this stage demonstrated his exceptional talent. Thus, it wasn't too surprising that Luo Feng could successfully train to control a World Master level Zerg Queen. After all, someone who can be judged by common sense is not a true genius. Of course, controlling the Zerg Queen is not without risk. The reason lies in the fact that the Zerg Queen's soul structure is vastly different from that of humans. It is not a single, complete individual, but a composition of tens of thousands of soul sources. This is why Luo Feng must cultivate the multitasking ability. Having already practiced the 3rd level of the secret method, Luo Feng now had the ability to enslave a World Master level Zerg Queen. Of course, in terms of success rate, his human body was no match for the Golden Horned Beast. After all, the Golden Horned Beast had already reached the 6th stage of the World Master, with battle power comparable to a 9th stage World Master human. Coupled with a 3,000 times amplification of spiritual energy, it would easily outclass even a peak World Master among humans. Thus, Luo Feng directly placed the Zerg Hive into his internal world. Once a warrior breaks through to the World Master level, their internal world can accommodate lifeforms just like a real universe. Moreover, Luo Feng's internal world had expanded to 60 million kilometers, so placing a Zerg Hive inside was like dropping a giant stone into a lake. Of course, compared to his human body, the Zerg Hive was still vast, like a towering mountain, especially since the Zerg Queen herself was over 10 meters tall. As for the poisonous gas released by the Zerg Hive, it could only threaten universe-level and lower warriors, but it posed no danger to a World Master-level internal world. Are you curious? Since Luo Feng only appeared to be at the Domain Master level,
Wouldn't placing the Zerg hive inside his internal world raise suspicion?
After all, a domain master's internal world cannot support living creatures. If one is forcibly brought in, it would be completely disintegrated and consumed. Furthermore, if the object exceeds the life core's tolerance limit, it could cause the life core to shatter, resulting in immediate death.
Despite this, Luo Feng's actions would not raise any suspicions.
This is because, given his status and position, although a world ring is far more expensive than a space ring, to Luo Feng it is just an ordinary item that he can easily purchase in large quantities. It's worth mentioning that unlike space rings, world rings can only be made by world masters who possess the power of the world. Their internal space is not only vast but also capable of hosting life forms.
Do you remember when Luo Feng, Hong, Lei Xin, and others participated in the Universe Mercenary Alliance Challenge when they were at the stellar level?
The special space they used back then is similar to that of a world ring. Therefore, if Luo Feng uses a world ring as an excuse, no one would raise any doubts, as no one would force him to bring them inside with him.
Returning to the story, enslaving the Zerg Queen is not without risks.
Her soul is extremely special, and the practitioner must precisely control tens of thousands of soul sources while maintaining absolute focus, which is undoubtedly a very difficult challenge. Furthermore, the Zerg Queen on Earth is not in a state of sleep due to severe injury, but is passively dormant. Even if she were heavily injured and unconscious, after tens of thousands of years, her injuries would have long since healed, and she would naturally wake up.
The passively dormant queen is more susceptible to external interference.
If a stronger soul method intervenes and disrupts her dormant state, she could wake up at any moment. Therefore, when Luo Feng tried to perform the secret technique to enslave her, the queen's awakening was entirely expected.
At this moment, it was a battle of souls. Fortunately, with the enhancement of his innate secret techniques and the overwhelming amplification of his mental strength, Luo Feng undoubtedly held the upper hand.
His victory was already inevitable. Although the Zerg Queen was skilled in illusions and tried to use them to influence Luo Feng and turn the tide, unfortunately, Luo Feng's willpower had already reached the pinnacle of the World Master level, making the Queen's illusions completely ineffective against him. Perhaps you are curious, why couldn't the Zerg Queen directly summon Zerg warriors to surround and kill Luo Feng? Theoretically, of course, she could. Unfortunately, the Zerg Queen that Hu Yanba captured has very few troops left. This is because, during the outer battlefield wars, she had almost exhausted all of the Zerg warriors, leaving only a dozen or so in her hive, which posed no threat to the Golden Horned Beast. If Luo Feng so desired, he could easily have the Golden Horned Beast annihilate them all, not to mention that he also has his powerful Masha clan clone. The Zerg Queen had no ability to resist. It is worth mentioning that a World Master level Zerg Queen can at most produce Zerg warriors at the peak of the World Master level. However, unlike the Golden Horned Beast, Zerg warriors rely on swarm tactics, not individual combat strength. A mere dozen or so Zerg warriors are insignificant in front of the Golden Horned Beast and can be easily crushed. Therefore, no matter what, the final victor is bound to be Luo Feng. With the submission of the Zerg Queen, Luo Feng will undoubtedly gain an army of 1 million Zerg warriors in the future. What kind of storm will the future battlefield bring? This is truly something to look forward to. What do you think? Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching this video. Wish you a wonderful day.